Oh, the second street.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to call to order this meeting of the City of Huntingburg Board of Public Works and Safety. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go to prayer. Father God, thank you for the commitment of the citizens, the employees, and these volunteer board members here at the Board of Public Works and Safety, and for committing their time to the city. We ask now in this meeting that you be in our hearts, be in our minds, and guide our decisions that are made here, that they're lawful, truthful, and in the best interest of this, all citizens of the city of Huntingburg. These things we ask in your son's name. Got a copy of the minutes. Do I hear any comments or any motions to accept?
I'll make that motion.
Got first and second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. And the claims have been through to sign. Do we have a motion to accept those?
I'll accept that.
Second.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. First thing we have up is gentleman couldn't be here today, but this is an event that was on 4th Street for the first time last year, but it's been in our park for I think a dozen years or better. Is the Volkswagen Club Southern Indiana Volks Force. They're very happy with the reason they went on 4th Street. They like going to restaurants and everything. Yes.
That's us.
Oh, that's right.
We're here.
You're here. Okay. Do you want to do a presentation?
Not necessarily. I mean, you can cover it.
I thought, dang, he looks familiar. Where I know
Yeah.
him from.
The date's August 9th. We start set up around 8 a.m. I think we do awards around 2, so we'll be cleaned up by 3:30 or 4.
Okay.
That's the long and the short of it. We are on this side of 231 or Main Street. So we'll be on the in 231, what you call Main Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll be on the east side from the highway, and I think it's Van Buren at the end. Is that correct?
Yeah. We have police here. I know we have also our street department. If you have any questions, now would be the time to ask them.
I don't. Last year, if you guys have any questions for me, it's fine. But last year kind of was our first year on Main, as he said, and it went pretty well. We were kind of gonna try to stick to that template if that works for you guys.
We kind of like the a little bit better because you had more street traffic. People could walk by and see things. Where before, if we were at the park, which the park was great, you didn't have people walking by. We're up here downtown, all your people come by and shop and see everything. It's nice.
They you still will have like the swap meet, so to speak, and
Yeah,
you'll utilize the city parking lot for your trailers.
that worked out well.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of these cars are trailered. If you know anything about the cooling systems on the Volkswagen, sometimes they don't travel a long.
We actually had 23 from Louisville drive down,
Oh, great.
come down 64, not the interstate.
So we really appreciate it. I think it went real well last year, the same day as the Jazz Festival, one Jazz Festival, but that happens on the other side. So I guess we have. Yeah, it would be, no, it isn't Wine and Jazz. We have another festival in town at the same time, but I can't remember what it was now.
Last year was a
Last year.
baseball tournament out of
Well, that's the reason they got rooted out of
the baseball.
out of the park was because of the baseball tournament, which probably will happen again this year.
Yes, that works for us. If you have any questions, I'm happy to field them.
Are you guys gonna have temporary barricades on the intersections?
The city set those up for us last year. I believe they are more of like the steel gates.
Well, that was the wooden barricades that they normally put up.
Yeah, I think down at the highway, we put the wooden ones and we put the metal lightweight ones here at Jackson, so they can be moved to let cars in and out. And as well as at this end, but I think you use the bigger barricades, and I won't say, well, we'd have to turn lane on the highway, because
Close it up.
somebody, yeah, we'll put usually cones in the turn lane to keep people from trying to turn left or southbound.
Okay.
So I say that with apprehension because it takes state permit, but they've been working with us really well
Okay.
to do that, so. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
I didn't recognize you without your hat.
That's all right. Okay.
Yeah, but we appreciate it, really. It's I will tell you that the merchants were very pleased.
Yeah, we had a real good time down there. It was nice.
So we have your certificate, insurance, looks like you have anything else. And I just need a motion to approve to shut the street down, utilizing barricades provided by the city. That'll be from Main Street, on 4th Street from Main to Van Buren, as well as use of the city lot.
I'll make it a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming down from Washington, is that where you?
Yeah, Washington and Evansville. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
We appreciate you guys
Okay.
coming here. It's
Thank
a
you, gentlemen.
Great annual event.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, we look forward to it. Have any questions? I've been in contact with the gal that's kind of
Yeah,
running the show. What's her name?
Kenley.
Kenley. Yeah, so I'll have her contact.
She works, we let Officer Mullen and some of the other officers that handle that and as well as Jason Stom with the street department. Those would be the ones you work with.
Okay.
I'll try to come up here at a time when we could open up the city hall, so, because I know someone won't see the car last year,
That was fun.
so
Appreciate you
I'll
guys.
make a
hosting
point of
us.
being up here between everything else I'm doing that day.
Yes.
So,
That's good. Thank you.
thank you. All right, next we have the annual Patoka Township Fire Protection Agreement. It's already been authorized by the city council because it's a monetary contribution from the township of 26,000. We get other advantages from the township of that fire protection, and Chief Hine, I don't know if you want to talk about the truck and what we do get in outside of this agreement from the township.
The new truck,
Yeah,
when it comes, I mean, it's, the new truck really doesn't have much benefit for the city, unless we have like a warehouse fire or something like that, where the hydrants can't keep up with the water that we need, but, the township did buy a brand new tanker, and its arrival time is any day. Working with the company right now, lots of phone calls, and we're hoping to have that here very, very soon.
so, really the point is the township's been very good to be able to provide those, but also knowing that that's about the only place we'll use it is in the township. You've had a chance to look at the agreement, you got it in front of you, but if you're okay or you have any questions about it, now would be a time, or I would also entertain a motion to accept the agreement.
Motion made.
We have a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We'll have 2 copies here. Each of you will need to sign both copies, once for the trustee, once for us. I'll sign last, so. So take this off, so we can roll that through. Next, we have the bids. Superintendent Jason Stom, if you want to forward, we can answer bids. These were the ones, the bid sheets were set up in such a way by the type of project that the scope of work that's required for community crossings grant. These are also the same streets that we approved, I think it was last May or June, in the Board of Public Works meeting to go out for bid. Prior to going out for bid, we do go through the council and Board of Public Works approve the streets and the application. So now we've come to the point where This went out for bid on Tuesday. And,
We
we opened bids on.
opened bids on Monday.
Monday.
That it was advertised, we went through the whole legal thing, it was advertised in the paper for 2 weeks. And the bids were due at 9 AM on Monday. We opened those bids. As you can see, you should have the bid tabs, I believe, in your board pack. I'll just briefly go through each one of the projects. Project number one, which was Geiger Street and 10th Street, which is basically a concrete street. It's been in bad shape, been needed to be repaired for a while. Also, there's some quite a bit of storm sewer work to be done out there on that project to try to help with the flooding issues that Master Brand has at their facility. So we're hoping between all this work that's going to be done on that one, that will help with some of that issue. Anyways, on project number one, Jaminski Contracting was the low bidder at $409,693. Is there any questions on any of that? On that project? You can see down there at the bottom of that sheet there, there was some ineligible items that were omitted when we applied for the grant. We had went through and done some more extensive videoing. So there was about 10 foot of 36-inch pipe that was kind of left off of that, but this one still came in under the estimate. The estimate was $438,000. So it came in roughly $30,000 under the estimate. So
There is interest from Master Brand during the point that they would fix their drainage on their side at their costs. So that may be a part of the project that we will not get involved in. So
correct. If you see,
there'd probably be more work involved.
if you see or you get questioned about it, there are two storm sewers that run parallel with each other on the west side of Geiger Street. One of those is a city storm sewer and the other is a private storm sewer for Master Brand, which basically collects their roof drains and a few other things. This contract includes the city storm sewer, but it does not include theirs. Okay, if they want to do that, they have to get with Jaminski, and Jaminski will give them a separate price to do that work. Okay, everybody understand that? Just so that if you get questions about it or you have questions about it, that's basically what that entails. We don't know whether they'll do it or not. Hopefully they will. A lot of it depends. They have a process just like we do as far as getting money. They had to have the contractor, they had to have a price basically before they could go to their corporate office to ask for permission to do it. Now that we have a contractor, they can go to that contractor and say, how much will you charge us? And then they can go out to try to get their money for it. So my recommendation for project number one would be that we would accept Jaminski Contracting's bid for $409,693.
29,000. Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll need a motion to accept that.
I'll make the motion.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Aye. Accepted. Bid for project one. Project two.
Project two is 19th Street, basically from Chestnut down to Woodland Drive. That's basically down past or down towards the street department. It ties into a project that we did about 2 years ago, I believe, on 19th Street. We went from County Road 400 up to Woodland Drive. So basically that will be paved, newly paved now from Chestnut Street all the way out to County Road 400. That project does have some pipe work on it, some curb and gutter. We're gonna put, if you drive that section, you'll see that there's no curb and gutter between Dogwood and Redbud. That's all gonna get curbed. We're gonna redo some of the storm sewer work that's in there. We've got some other places that we gotta do a little curb work in on there. So basically that was project number 2. Low bidder on that was J.H. Rudolph at $234,268.75. The estimate for that project was $245,108.94. So we came in under budget on that one by roughly $10,000.
If you remember, this street was chosen for several reasons. One of those is being able to improve that drainage across Redbud and Dogwood with that additional pipe. Get the curb and gutter in there to control the water, but also provide sidewalks. Although the project doesn't fund the sidewalk, it will the prep work to be able to bring sidewalk from Chestnut down to the north side part. There's already some sidewalks there, but this will make it more connected, so you can actually come from Northside Park all the way up Chestnut, to.
That's correct.
Are you comfortable with Rudolph?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with Rudolph.
I mean, in the past, they've done a lot of work in the city.
Yeah.
The last year or two, they haven't been low bidder on anything, so. But yeah, I don't have any doubts with, their ability to do these projects.
So we'll need no more discussion. Could we have a motion to accept?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Also.
all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Aye. Project 2 approved. Project 3.
Project 3, that has a combination of 6 streets. Walnut Street from First Street to Third Street. Jackson Street from Second Street to Third Street. 7th Street from Jackson Street to Van Buren Street. 4th Street from where 4th and 3rd meet to 240 feet west of Chestnut. Argem Street from First Avenue to First Street. Friendship Drive from 10th Street to 12th Street. These projects are mostly mill and pave and patching, deep patching. So they're basically all asphalt jobs. As you know, I went through that list pretty quickly, but you have it there. If you want to go look at them, you can see the ones they are. These were all low on the Paisley ratings. That's why they were chosen to be repaired or to be repaved.
3 of those streets do include ADA ramp replacements.
Yeah.
So that'd be an additional to the asphalt.
Though that is ADA replacement that Davin's referring to is anytime we repave a street and it has sidewalks, we have to redo the ADA ramps to bring them up to the latest NDOT standards. So the low bidder on that was also J.H. Rudolph. They came in at $427,888.50. This one was a little bit over the estimate. The estimate was 413, 417, 11. And basically that's probably just because of the amount of asphalt. Is probably where that would come, why it came in the way it did. But I don't think it's anything alarming. Any questions on those?
That one's 3% higher was all, but
Yeah.
we've seen about 10% probably in some asphalt since a year ago. When we first put these estimates together.
Yeah, that's part of the issue that you run into when you have to do these estimates this far in advance, then price of asphalt changes and then that affects your
4 bid tabs
prices.
are about 50,000 under that roughly in that area. So any discussion or do I hear a motion to accept the bid?
I'll make the motion to accept.
We have a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
And then the final one, project number 4. Is Savannah Drive from Chestnut to the cul-de-sac there at Irvine Court. This is a street that I'm not sure that it's ever been repaved since it was built. But it's to the point where it needs it. So that was the reason why this one was chosen. The reason why this one is more expensive for one street is that's a very wide street. If you've ever drove down through there, it's got parking on both sides. It's got, in my opinion, that's how all city streets should be built, but they are expensive when you do have to repave them, but there's also ample room for cars and things like that. But
That's the one that presently is crowned.
it isn't, well, it is, but not very well. So basically on that one, basically what we'll do is we'll mill along the edge, the curb lines. And then in the middle, we won't do hardly anything. We'll just lay 1.5 inches over there. So it gets a little more slope to try to get the water to run to the curb and gutter. To try to get rid of the water. Cause the cross slope's pretty flat and even the horizontals sort of flat. So, hopefully that, once we get done with the new pavement, that will help with that. Low bidder on that one was CalCar Paving. Their price was $60,323.20. And that was roughly about $5,000 under the estimate that we turned in for that one. So, questions on that project?
I hear a motion to accept.
I'll make that motion.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, it carries. Got I think we included, just as a, estimate, thank you, Davin, for putting together that analysis and that's an email we included here that helps make decisions too, and figure out where we're at. But thank you. So we have, we'll go ahead with the rest of your report.
Okay. For the monthly report, should all have had that. Obviously the big thing in January was the snow and then the cold temperatures that we got after that. That caused the snow and the ice to stick around for a substantial amount of time. We had our typical setbacks on our equipment when we were doing that. Backhoe, the old case backhoe went down with transmission problems. We've got that fixed since then. Had a problem with the truck on the wiring for the plow. That's also been fixed. You see there the New Holland tractor with the blade on the back. Run into an issue with that. I did get Hope Equipment is where it come from. They looked at it and they basically said that it's not worth trying to fix it. It's been fixed once. That's a typical reason why we don't use that piece of equipment for any other streets than what we do. Okay. In the last 2 years, it's had to been fixed twice. Okay, and it's been 2 different drivers of the tractor. With that steel blade, if you hit anything solid, obviously it tears it up. First time we hit a manhole with it, this time they hit the railroad track with it. This time it basically took the blade and bent it straight back. So to try to straighten all that metal and get it back, they said it's not worth trying to do that. Did get an estimate for a new one. You can see that there. It's approximately $7,000 for a new one. I'm gonna leave this up to you guys as listen to your thoughts on this. There's 3 ways I can go. One is not to replace it. Because right now the way that thing is used, it's used for plowing snow and that's it. Okay, so it may get used one time a year, it may get used however. So one is to not replace it, two is to replace it, or three is to replace it with a blade that has, and you might be able to help me with that, Dustin, but it has side to side shiftability. And basically what we could do with that then would be to use it for the snow removal, but we would also be able to go on streets that do not have curb and gutter and would be able to lower the shoulders. Because if you look on streets that don't have shoulders, the dirt and the sand and the rock just keeps building up. That holds the water from draining off the road. That causes the water to get under the road, and that causes potholes. So if you had that blade that would be able to shift, it would be able to basically windrow that stuff off. So those are my three options.
I think if you're gonna get one, you need to get a hydraulic one. I mean, I got one that you can turn it hydraulically and tilt it. If you don't get one like that, it's useless, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
And that's basically what we've got now is one that, you can turn it, but you have to manually go pull the pin and turn it and,
Those are useless, in my opinion.
yeah. So I mean, like I said, I don't have a price on the hydraulic one because I wanted to run it past you guys first before I even went that route. If you want me to price that out, I will. But you guys just,
Do you have any other equipment for the hydraulic blade on
no. No, we have a blade for our little Kubota tractor, but it's not hydraulic either. It's just a pull the pin and turn it, yeah. So like I said, I know that's, it's $7,000 is a lot to spend on one that doesn't do it, and I have no idea what, I'm sure it's gonna be double that maybe. Think that's,
Probably,
yeah, for a hydraulic one, so.
I'd say at least 12.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not gonna have a lot of use. I mean, we can use it every year to do that with the shoulders. And then, whatever we come up with on the snow. So,
I was gonna say, I think Holmes has, one or two used ones, that I don't think a guy would necessarily need a brand new one.
no. I mean, I can price used ones,
We've been in touch with Travis McQueen at the airport too. He uses the federal surplus. We are eligible to pick up on that. Some of those, they have a lot of blades that they use to clear airport ways and that type of thing that are available there. We'll see if any of those are available to us free, sometimes a very small charge to ship them or whatever, to get them here, but that's a possibility too. Some of the stuff he gets, he says, still in the crate, never been used. We're researching what's available. What's happened is over the past probably 10 years or so, seems like our blades that we used to have on trucks in our other departments have all kind of gone by the wayside. We were not able to call upon them to help with parking lots and those type of things because nobody had a blade. We were able to, wastewater department was able to get Jeremy down here with their skid loader and be able to clear the parking lot here, which actually works much better in a truck. And you get some things there, but we spent too much time with the city doing parking lots where the plan is to get the utilized parks and water and the other departments with blades.
and just so you guys are aware of, when that snow occurred and when we were down here on 4th Street picking the snow up off of 4th Street, that process or that project was comprised of mostly, there was 2 guys from the street department there, and that was it. The rest of them were wastewater had guys there. I'm not gonna even, all the departments did, okay? I don't wanna leave anybody off, but all the departments had guys there, so we did not take guys from cleaning streets, taking care of the streets, off of the streets to pick up the snow on 4th Street. Okay, that was not the case. We stayed out doing what we were supposed to be doing with the street department. The other city departments are who took care of cleaning off 4th Street, so. But anyways, back to the blade, is that you want me to just get with Hof and come back to you next month with some options maybe?
Yeah, do some research.
Okay, yep, I'll be glad to do that. And then the number 7, which is obviously the next one there, I would like to have the ability to seek quotes for a new salt spreader. Right now we have 3 of them. Okay. I've been going through trying to figure out how to maximize our equipment, how can we improve our snow response. By adding a 4th salt spreader, I basically have the city broken down into 4 zones. And if I added a 4th salt spreader, that would give me a salt spreader for each zone. Right now I have one that has to, I don't necessarily do it that way. Like we'll send 2 salt spreaders on the south side of 64. And then we'll have one on the north side and that's it. Okay.
And his lack of people to do that, we will bring people from other departments run double shifts.
With that 4th spreader, I would be able to dedicate 1 spreader to 1 zone. And then that 1 driver would stay in that zone so that he doesn't miss any streets. He would learn all the streets in that zone. He would make sure that he was in charge of getting all the streets in his zone. And those guys would stay with that zone. They wouldn't switch zones. Okay. Does that make sense? I think that would be I mean, obviously there's streets now that we may forget or get overlooked. Whereas if we had particular guys in charge, and if something didn't get done in that zone, then I know who to go to and say, why did this not get done? Now I can't do that because I don't know who was, responsible for doing that. But with the 4 spreader, it would go a long way. And basically all I'm asking you guys for is permission to even go out and get quotes for one. Once I had the quotes, I'd bring them back to you and then you can decide what you want to do. But right now, I would just like to have the ability to get the quotes. Any questions on that?
We have a motion to get quotes for that as well as the blade spreader. And bring them back for consideration at a future meeting.
I'll make the motion to do that. Second.
All right, got first, second, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Any other questions with any of that stuff? I mean, I'll be glad to answer them.
I just want, do we have some kind of training for snow removal?
We did, LTAP does do something. If you do it, you can try to get them to set it up to where they'll come to your place. Otherwise, you have to go to West Lafayette to Purdue to do it.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that it's not worth it. But to send all the guys up there to do that would be expensive and I've been through it. I've been through it 2 or 3 times. So I try to relay what I learned to these guys. A lot of it is more so on adjusting the salt spreaders so that you're putting down the right amount of salt, not too much, not too little. That's more so of what that is, what that training's about. Because it's kind of hard to teach somebody how to plow snow. Does that make sense? I mean,
I know you have a lot of new guys that probably have never seen a snow like yet.
well, yeah, I mean, there was nobody in our department had seen anything like I hadn't since I'd been here.
Right.
That was a very hard snow because
Right.
it snowed, then it iced, and then it snowed, and we were going back and forth, and I was communicating with the mayor, and I talked to Jasper and I talked to the county and, Ferdinand, how were they gonna try to tackle it? So we all kind of tried to tackle it the same way with letting some of the snow lay and then trying to let the ice on it so that you could, but the problem we had when we did that, and again, I learned my lesson on it. What happened was once it got the snow, it was snow, ice, snow. When you take those rubber blades, they would never go through the ice to get to the snow on the bottom. The county could do that because they run metal blades. So the county roads look nice. State highway, same thing. They run metal blades, so we're cutting through the ice to get to the snow. We couldn't do that. So that was part of our problem, and I'll take the blame for part of it, but it was something that we had to make the decision at that time as to what did we think was going to be the best way to do it.
I would have thought the same thing, yeah.
We did go out and buy some sand that had calcium chloride in it from IMI, and we did put that down. That helped. The sand more so give the traction, the calcium chloride melts ice faster. The issue with that is we have to pick it back up because of the storm sewers. And I think we might have talked about that the other time, but
Not good on street sweeper either.
no, it's not good on the street sweeper. So that's why we haven't really went out now and tried to pick the sand up yet. We're trying to let it get all that calcium out of there before we pick it up. So. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, Carrie, yeah, there is, you know, and I may look at that to see whether I can get LTAP to come down here, because they don't go to everybody that asks for, but I've got a pretty good, relationship with them. So I may get a hold of them and say, hey, could you guys come down? And the thing is, you know, we can invite other communities here too when they're here, you know.
Even our other departments, if we're thinking about
Or
having
that-
other departments having blades, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just throw a guy in a truck with a blade, that's probably, without a little bit of training, is probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
Most.
I mean, I had two guys that have been there less than a year, you know, and we
Right.
basically they had to ride along for a little
Right.
while to learn the
Yeah.
process.
Right.
We're looking at taking 4 guys to ride along with existing ones who've been, but most of the plays that we're looking at are gonna be for this parking lot, and that parking lot, and Market Street Park, and cleaning all the parks. Probably would close Southside Park and that type of snow should just be shut down. There's too much shade, it doesn't fall down there. It stays cool down there, same thing with the lake area, even though there's sun there, it's dangerous to be out on the lake that's halfway frozen, so. If there's areas that we need to shut a little sooner, and keep people out there. Lee House Park, it seems to be the playground and wasn't where it at, so that parking lot needs to be cleaned. But we shouldn't be pulling the street department off of, to do those type of projects, but we didn't have lanes elsewhere to be able to do that, so. To your point, they've got to be trained properly to do that, that's
Yeah.
what we're going to find. So as a form of training, then we could run maybe 2 8-hour shifts whenever. So. Instead of 1 10 hours, right? Our, you know, when we look at other local communities, our team, because of the lack of spreaders we have, are covering almost twice the miles that other communities are covering per person. I mean, look at Jasper, they have 36 employees.
Per shift.
So. We might have 6, you know. so,
Yeah.
But we don't have 6 trucks for them, you know, that's.
Yeah. So yeah, we are, you know, the mayor and I and Andrea got together after this and kind of put our heads together trying to figure out, you know, what can we do to improve this, you know, if this happens again. So just so you guys know, we are working on it. It is a work in progress and we'll do what we can to, you know.
And it will happen again, so.
Yeah, hopefully
So.
not for a while, but if you guys got any input into it, you know, feel free to call me, come out and visit me or whatever. I'll be glad to sit down and talk about it, but the only other thing that I got is we did start crack sealing. Trying to get ready for all of the streets that Rejuve Tech is going to be in to put their product down on, and then also just doing any streets that need to be crack sealed. So outside of that and Northside Park / street department driveway, parking lot, whatever you want to call it out there, that's what we've been basically working on. Update on that, we made a pour 2 days ago. We've got 2 left. We're gonna make 1 tomorrow. And then depending on the weather, but it looks like it might not be till next Friday to make the last one. So we've got 2 left out there and then we'll be done with that concrete parking lot, driveway, whatever you want to call it all. So any other questions?
There was discussion on doing asphalt there one time, but the surface.
The
will-
subgrade didn't hold up the way it was hoped to, so.
Concrete will hold up a lot better here.
Yeah.
So. We'll give you updates on 4th Street, you know, the idea is to come back and fix, you know, the sinking and try to come up with a more long-term solution or BS. Really, part of it is following their original design plan when this should have been done 3 years ago
Mhm.
for recompacting, but I think some of the addition of that is looking at the configuration of some of the parking, make it easier to pull in and out and, the other one is, getting concrete at the intersections where people stop and take off, because that's where the pushing occurs. They're getting concrete under those areas.
I read an article in Evansville last fall. They had put this same kind of street down. And they went back in with the engineering recommendation, trying to repack it, put the pavers back down. Well, they did it the third time this year. They paved it underneath. They had no choice, they said, and they wasted like $250,000-350,000 doing one damn street.
Yeah.
And I found out that repacking the second time wasn't any good either.
Yeah.
So,
And I think a
two
lot,
wrongs don't make a right.
and I think a lot of times you go back, especially down Evansville, with the type of sandy soil they have, I would guess that that's a problem too. You take Mount Sandy, that's had it for 20 years, there seems like it was done yesterday. Consider last year, got to go down that area and got probably be up here again there in May again, looking at some stuff, but it hopefully will be there. I think it's 2 blocks. It's originally designed for 10 mile an hour. If anybody drives 10 mile an hour, I'm really surprised at that. So that's part of the issue too. So we're taking that actual speed of probably 15 to 20 that people are traveling.
Yeah, that's all I got. Any questions? Like, wore out my welcome.
Thank you.
You guys are back there making faces at me.
So we got water superintendent Brad Coomer. It always scares me to bring an engineer with you.
No, it's all good.
Can't field any foul balls.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning.
Just a reminder that there is an update on the meeting today.
Good what?
You have a meeting today, status meeting.
Yeah.
On the wastewater plant.
Progress meeting, yeah.
Progress meeting.
Yep.
So,
First Thursday every month. We got progress meeting, division A and B. 10-11. You guys are welcome to show up if you want. But any questions on the report? No, I can go. Division B will be, they're working a day, but they're not digging. They'll be in the intersection of Van Buren and First on Monday and Tuesday. And then hopefully within 2 weeks, they'll be done on First Street of laying pipe and then clean up, and they got a bunch of other stuff to do, but we've been coordinating with the kids' place for traffic control, so hopefully that all goes smoothly too, so.
How are they gonna do that? I was just curious when they're.
It'll be a one-way, so we have a map, we can send it, we asked them if they wanted to post it, and they said they were fine, but.
So they'll be able to get to their building wall.
Yeah, basically the south side of First Street will be one way heading east. Then go in and leave once we get to that point. So it should work smoothly, hopefully. Anyway. Division A is moving along, the SBR. Excavation is done pretty much just for the SBR. So if you guys want to go down there and look at it, looks pretty massive. They do have another about 20 feet to go for just pipe galley and some stuff like that. But Beatty Construction will be here next Wednesday for 4 weeks, working on the ridge and inclusion to be put in, weather permitting. They're saying 4 weeks on that. And then March 10th, we will have I think 26 loads of rebar just for the floor of that SBR coming in. It's 540 tons of rebar. So be interesting. You guys want to come down, look me up. We got hard hats, walk around. It's pretty interesting to be built. So I welcome you down. Anybody in the city.
have some hard hats downstairs in the closet.
Yes. Other than that, First Street, like to seek bids on replacing from Jackson west to basically more for less entrance. We were down there looking at some stuff. Unfortunately for the project, we stopped shy of that just for, stop somewhere at some point,
But we did find some bad pipe in there. And hopefully redoing that street at some point. I know Jason has some storm sewer to do in there, but I would like to possibly, hopefully do that in-house. I'll just hire a contractor to dig it and maybe a truck or two to haul everything away. That way we can do it cheaper, so. I get permission to seek quotes of moving further on that. Appreciate it.
Need to take from, that'll take you about the entrance to More or Less.
Yes, it'll be right past more. There's a bunch of taps there
Right
for
there.
some original houses. We'll dig them out, get them out.
We've had some water main issues there. We have stormwater issues there, so that whole area needs to be addressed anyway, so. What he's looking for is now, to get some quotes, to get quotes on the stormwater, I mean, the wastewater.
Sanitary.
We need motion for that.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion for you to get quotes.
We have a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Thank you. The other thing, 812 and 814 on second, I've discussed this with you guys mostly on the backup, do construction, some overflow and a big rain event. We had some backup in some couple houses. That has been all completed as of yesterday. The second house had the flooring put down. I don't know if you need to prove it, but I know there was a bunch of questions about letting you guys know what was going on. I've been,
I was actually wanting that because there were some invoices that came through that would be questionable on who should actually pay for these things. Commonwealth had put together a kind of a what caused it, so I'm not gonna pay it until you guys say to pay it, if you agree with it.
the total with the installation was $6,554.30 is what we have. Andrew and I have worked with the insurance company. We did file a claim. I filled out a report on all that too, so we may get reimbursed. We do not have a what am I saying? Well, hopefully we get that reimbursed from insurance too, so.
I read that report that we talked about, and it sounded to me pretty cut and dry that, you know, it wasn't contractor's fault.
Yeah.
It was just
And that was my concern, whether it's because there was two contractors down.
Yeah.
So I would make a motion to let the city approve it.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries.
If you have any questions, that we can feel free to come down. I can show you exactly what was going on.
I know.
Cool. Any other questions or what's going on?
You have it. That's there.
I think we're good. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Brad. So we have Fire Chief, Don, we have, the next Brad, Police Chief, Brad Kramer. He has a couple, get everything on the agenda you're asking for. Okay.
Any questions on the report? No questions. Just to let you guys know, we did receive the bullet and stab resistant vest for Romeo. It has a value of $1,800. We got it for free through a grant. Through that same company, I've applied for a med kit specifically for a dog, built for a dog that Jorge will be able to keep with him for Romeo. So once we get that, we should be getting that here in a few months. But we couldn't apply for that until we got the actual vest. So something to do with their stipulations. Right. But it was a free vest for $1,800, but we didn't have to pay for it. And then we did receive a second grant for $7,500 for a second canine. The process has begun to equip a vehicle and scheduling of that training for that handler. So we're looking more towards the middle of the year to start that process for training. Just because the kennel where we get the dog is busy on the early part of the year, so. Any questions on either one of those? No? All right. So the last thing I've got is one of our systems that we use for our body worn devices, the cameras in our cars and that we wear. They have what's called a camera registry. Citizens in our community can register a camera. It's pretty painless. I went through it the other day in about 5 minutes and did my personal camera just to see how it works. The information that's provided to us with this system is the owner of the camera, what their address is, how many cameras, if they're internal or external, and if it's a commercial or residential place. We will not have any kind of live access to it. Say there's a situation at 4th and Washington the other morning that we had. If anybody in that area, say a half a mile radius, and we can set it all the way up to 10 miles, but we can send a media request to them through this system, and then they can go through and check. We give them the time frame, what to look for, and they can go in and check their cameras, and if they have anything, then they can just resubmit it back to us through the system. And then we get notified through our email that we've got a notification in there, and we have media files to look at. So it's just an investigative tool for us. I know other communities use it, but I know Jasper uses something different, but they have the same body worn camera as us. So, but I think it's a tool that we pay for.
It's a burglary, we can maybe follow that vehicle's exit
Yeah.
path or something like that, or maybe see them after they
Yeah. And-
de-identify themselves, see if their hood's off or whatever. It's an opportunity to catch them at a later date.
Yeah, and this would be like doorbell cameras, garage cameras, side of a house, whatever.
So the owner of the camera has to initiate turning it over to you.
Yeah, so what happens, and I can show you all this, I'm not gonna show the public, but I'll show you the map. But because only certain people in our department will have access to where these cameras are actually at, in a supervisory role and above. But we will send them the request. Anybody that is registered in that area, we will send them the request. And then they will just download it in there and send it back.
Looking for any cameras in private areas.
Yeah,
It's, in residence or.
and like I said, we will not have live access. We will not be able to review that footage without them sending it to us. It's no different than us sending a guy there and saying, hey, can we see your cameras from this time to this time? So this is just, we don't have the initial contact with them in person. It would just come via email or text message.
So can you get footage off any brand camera or is that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, as long as you can download it off of, say, Ring or Nest or whatever. You download it into your phone or computer and you can drag and drop that file in there, it'll send it. And then we can view it on our end, what you've sent us. And I've tested all that yesterday to see how it works, and it's pretty flawless. It's pretty easy. So. But if you guys want to see it, I'll show you. Give me a call. I can bring it to you. You can stop by the office. And I can show you how that works. So. But, and I know there'll be questions about it, with the public and, oh, they've got access to our cameras. We don't. We won't be able to see them unless they send us the video. The main thing is they know that they control what we see. And that's because they've sent it to us. So. Any other questions on that? Nope. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chief.
And we are gonna launch that today, later on. via social media, and then I'll try to get with like Matt Crane or something to get a news release pushed out, so.
At least you have a QR code. We're interested in.
Yeah.
That then,
They'll
once you
do-
register the camera, so we know what cameras are, so we can.
Yep.
utilize them. So, if need be. I'll ask for, Fire Chief Don Hunt.
Questions? Report that I, well, we're keeping an eye on the last 6 months. There's been a significant increase on our runs. Could be just situational, but it's consistent, so I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. I'll keep you up to date because I mean, it's almost right now we run 280 to 300 runs a year, and this could possibly bump us up to like over 400 runs a year. So it's a big jump. So they may go down. This month's looking a little better so far, but we're only on day 6. So I'll keep. Like I said, I'm keeping an eye month by month and recording and trying to figure out what it is, and I think I'm on there, but
Talk about more medical related.
it's a lot more medical related as of right now. That's what the data is showing. I'm graphing it out now. Maybe a couple months I'll share that with you. We'll see what happens. It may kind of go away, or it may stay. This may be the new norm as well. A lot of training going on this month, the cold months. I got people in EMR classes. I got people in EMT classes. I just took a class trying to bring a new program into the city and developing it, a youth fire setter intervention program. So there'll be more information as that develops. So if you have no questions, that's all I have.
Planning Director Paul Lake.
Good morning, everybody. Everyone have my reports? Any questions? I will let you know that on the code enforcement, the total where it looks like notices of violation were 2. One of those was actually involving a trailer park. And there were 4 separate violations from different occupants. They were consolidated into one because we don't have ownership. We don't have the names of the occupants, and I couldn't tell where the vehicle belonged in relation to which trailer owned it. So they were consolidated and went to the property owner of the trailer park.
This month we'll probably have our first presentation of the ordinances.
Right, I believe it will go to the council, yeah.
So that'll come from the bill.
Yeah, and that's been a work in progress. It's something that we need. Is it get us all the way to where we would like to be? Probably not, but it gets us tools that will let us go a lot further down the road than we currently can.
So on our list, it's gonna be a busy year, but that's part of it. But putting together a comprehensive nuisance ordinance that handles all the nuisances that we have in the city, and try to be better definitions, as well as working on some. Paul carries a lot of hats, but one of those were changes that in the UDO as far as specific to drainage and a few other things that we needed to control. Water, trash, that's what we gotta control right now.
The definitions in the nuisance ordinance are over 30 years old. So they date from the 90s. When the city adopted the Unified Development Ordinance back in 2021, one of the things that we discussed at the time was coming back somewhere between 2 and 3 years after that
to tweak it, to pick up any, or to correct any internal conflicts within it that we find, or to address other things like drainage. And one of the things that we did was, it used to be that drainage, stormwater drainage control and property drainage was contained as it was an ordinance within the city's code of ordinances. And if you may remember at that time, we pulled out street design manual, or the street design manual and specifications and drainage into a document that the Board of Public Works adopted. And we did that so that if we do need to make modifications to it, we can do it in one meeting when we need to do that, rather than go through the code of ordinance update, which can be a 90 to 120 day process. So it's time to go back through and see where we've got things that we want to improve on, and things that we need to eliminate conflicts within the ordinance. And it'll be a busy year. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Director Andrea Brown. Looks like you didn't do anything at this line here. I can tell you, she's been very busy.
Questions on anything?
Is that one from workshop? Is that a new one, or is that still the ongoing?
We had a new one, one of the officers, they were doing some training and during what do you call it, like a training fight,
Physical tactics.
physical tactics. They injured like their rib, so it's nothing major, but they went over just to be seen, so they've got a follow-up appointment coming up, so that's the work, that's the open one right now, so.
I'd say Andrea did work a lot with the updates at the end of December, payroll updates, but also we're dealing with a lot of insurance issues, putting together a lot of hours going into that health fair. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I think some of the improvements we asked for this year, I asked for actually, was that we could have more physical therapists, but that Andrea and I talked about that, and maybe even some better mental health counseling for officers and our emergency responders. And we were kind of shy on maybe assets or availability
Yeah.
for that type of counseling or specialized that the police need. And Chief Kramer has been very proactive in seeking out those people. So kudos to him because our officers see things that none of us could probably handle. So.
And then we're about halfway through our CPR classes, so I thank Donnie for doing those. Getting a lot of good feedback, and he makes the class not boring. So everybody enjoys.
Couple emails saying how great.
Yeah, everybody enjoys doing that. So I think we're about halfway through. We've got the rest of February, and then we should have everybody recertified. So. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
So the attorney Phil Snyder wasn't here. The only thing he had to present was the township fire ordinance, which we've already done. Do you have anything to talk? No. Do we have any board items?
I had one question. When we had that snow, the city has snow emergency routes. How does that work as far as towing vehicles? Because I've seen a lot of vehicles sitting there that never did get moved, and I just didn't want residents to think, oh, well, if we leave our vehicle sit there, nothing's gonna happen. Like,
Yeah.
question I had.
The snow emergency route, that once it hits a certain amount of snow, and that's usually don't do it. We discussed we were going to do it unless it hit 4 inches or more. The problem is the towing is that on that Sunday and Monday when that hit, the towing companies weren't even coming out. They would not respond. That's another reason for the snow emergency, because if you did get stuck on Sunday night or Monday morning, nobody was going to come and get you. State police, county, our Jasper City Police, all of them were saying that they couldn't get anybody to respond. Tow trucks were staying home. It was just too slick for them to even.
I'm just wondering, any snow event.
So it really didn't mean a whole lot. It was gonna be voluntary, but the ability to go out and actually tow them wasn't there. There wasn't anybody that could tow.
So on a normal snow event, will the police department go out and like tag the vehicle and say, hey, you got X number of hours to move it, or?
Yeah, they're.
Yeah, we'll make every effort to make contact with them, whether it be in person, phone call, bull. So whenever you register your plate or your vehicle at the BMV, it asks for like an emergency contact. Typically, it's either a mom or, a father or, a relative that's close to you that you want to know. And we'll try to reach them even. And if we can't reach anybody, then we'll come back to it a little bit later on and try again.
Well, I know the
So-
city doesn't wanna have to tow vehicles, but,
Yeah.
in a snow event, then they get in the way of moving the snow, and then
Right.
then the residents cry because they can't get their vehicle. I didn't know how the city handled that.
Yeah, we have a lot of times when people are illegally parked, they could be parked at Market Street Park when there's an event scheduled. And
Mhm.
the police have been very good about contacting as many people as they can and not towing it. I think, I set up the farmer's market on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
5 years I've been there, I've seen one car that was actually towed away. Seen cars there parked about every week and they have to run them off. But they were very good about making contact with them. One of them, I think they were out of town and there were probably some illegal substances in the vehicle.
Yeah.
But they can't just tow a vehicle. You have to inspect it, right?
If we can, yes.
Yeah.
That's per our policy, department policy.
So I
So
kudos to the police because they do.
if it's unlocked, but like that one, if it's got controlled substances, we'll go through it. Because it's an exception to the law.
Yeah, you don't see. That's when I walked away, and let them handle their job.
That was the one that I had.
Any citizen items?
Like-
No. Yes,
I know,
you
right?
can.
We brought it, talking about hoarding again, and I just wanted to share that we're really not doing a service by not having an ordinance. I don't care how hard it is, but what's happened since then is that because there's not an ordinance, it has continued, but it continues at nighttime when people are not aware. But now we're having where it's on a vehicle and that's not a drivable vehicle. And I left today and it looks like, so they cleaned it out after the police had came in and then they left today and it's the exact same way. So I don't want to have another policy that we're not going to have follow up with, where people are not going to take us seriously, saying that there is a problem. It needs to be cleaned up because we don't have an ordinance out there. So I just wanted you guys to be aware that it is continuing. It's not getting better. More items are being brought in. And so. Yeah, and when you live beside it, then it's a lot more impactful because you have to see it every single day. And see, if you saw the one picture, there's stuff laying on the road because of the wind that fell off of there. But so, I don't expect for you all to see or to have that, but when it really does have a lot of disharmony within our neighborhood. Because there is a lot of lack of confidence in our council to actually do something because they haven't seen any movement. So I just wanted to provide an update for you all just to see that it's not stopped. It's
Just
actually
so you know,
continues.
our staff has taken all measures necessary based upon our current ordinance.
Mhm.
And what my concern, and Paul Blake and I discussed it last year, is that we need something that we can enforce, so Paul, our attorney Phil Schneider did come up with something I think that is acceptable to us, but we don't think it's even that, it's not comprehensive enough to cover everything. You're limited sometimes by state statutes, but we need to. Somebody said, do you want a shield or do you want a sword, when dealing with this? And I said, I think we need to bring out the sword and be in attack mode versus, just trying to protect our community in other ways and protect ourselves, but from litigation or whatever that happens to be, we need to be active and say I think in the past, we some of the comments were, our ordinances don't allow us to do that, or we can't do that because of this, but, and my question then became, what can we do and what can we do we haven't done? And so I'm with you. I give you a hard time, but it's
No.
only because I appreciate you as a citizen of the community, and what you do here. I thank you for keeping on top of it.
I don't take it personally.
I get it. It's good, really, but yeah,
It's,
I appreciate you showing up.
Yeah.
Voice to me. Thank you.
thanks.
Well, if there's any other citizen items, I hear a motion to adjourn. Motion made. All right, do you have a second?
Okay.
All those in favor? Aye. No opposed. Everything sounds kind of good.
I know.
But is this thing fully big?
I think so.
Well, we talking about the years, that should be considered.
Usually.